Oftentimes, people join the gym, they begin working out, and they do it all wrong. And if they could have only started correctly in the first place, just imagine the progress you could be making. And so if you want to learn how to train effectively and not make mistakes from the beginning, well, this is the video for you. Coach Greg, and in today's video, we're going to be going over the mistakes Alex Yu made, the things he wished he knew when he started training.
I don't train to be the strongest guy in the gym. I don't train to be the biggest guy in the gym, but I train to look the best with my shirt off.
And so this advice, it's not for the powerlifters. It's those who are trying to build the most aesthetic physique. You know, lots of muscle, lean, looking chiseled. How do you look good with your shirt off?
Obviously, a big part that's going to play into this is a disclaimer is obviously your genetics.
You can't change your genetics. Some people, they simply have better genetics than others.
If you don't have aesthetic muscle insertions, if you don't understand what that is, it's the way that your muscle was inserted into I think it's the tendon.
And so just to clarify, a muscle is attached to a tendon and tendon to a bone. And so depending on where that tendon attaches, it's going to change how you look. If your chest attaches further away from the sternum, you're going to have chest with a gap in the middle. However, if it's closer, you're going to have a much more fuller looking chest. You can't change that. And Alex, he knows this, but you can do your best to overcome the weaknesses. You have a wide waist, as I was told, well, develop wider shoulders. The wider your shoulders develop, the smaller your waist will appear, and you can get that X-frame physique.
Not scientifically correct in my wording. I'm actually working on my personal training certificate. I just started it, so I'll probably gain more knowledge over that course, but right now this is just me speaking purely on experience.
And what I really like about Alex is he's very passionate about this. He's studying, he's learning, he wants to increase the knowledge he has of all aspects of training, both diet and training. And so he suggests prioritize the right muscles, and you can't go wrong with the shoulders. To me, arguably, the shoulder is the most important muscle to develop. If you want to look aesthetic, you need to have wide shoulders. The wider shoulders, the smaller waist, that is something you have to have if you want to have an aesthetic physique. And so if you have wide shoulders, well-formed lats, a full chest with arms, well, frankly, you have it made. You have the beach body physique.
So one of the big things I want to say when it comes to training, I never max out. I never do one rep max whatsoever. I feel like the risk to reward ratio is just not beneficial whatsoever.
And so tip number one, stop maxing out. Risk reward ratio out of whack. You have much more chance of getting injured when you're lifting heavier weights. And for what? To show off how much you can bench? Rather than doing a 1 rep max, perhaps 315, why not do a 10 rep max with 225? And so stop ego lifting. Stop thinking about all the crazy heavy weights. You're not a power lifter. You're just trying to build an aesthetic physique, and doing 1 rep maxes don't need to do it.
If you're purely trying to train to build an aesthetic physique, you don't have to squat, bench, deadlift. I don't squat, bench, and deadlift.
And tip number two, you don't need to do squat, bench, or deadlifts to build an aesthetic physique. And you're thinking, yes, you do. Those are great movements. He's not debating that those are not great exercises. He's simply saying you can still build an amazing physique without doing them. My advice, try doing them. Try to get the hang of it. Please learn them. They are great exercises. But if they're causing you pain, they're simply not for you, you hate doing them, rather see you do something else. The best training program is not always the one that's most ideal for building muscle, but the one that you enjoy that you're going to follow. And speaking from experience, I've done squat, bench, and deadlift my entire life. But for the last several years, I stopped doing them. Why? It's not because they're not great exercises, because they cause me pain.
I don't like the idea of squat, bench, deadlift at the start because, for example, a lot of beginners when they go in the gym, I was a culprit of this as well. I'm trying to bench press, and I'm like, yo, why am I only feeling this in my front delt? Versus feeling it in my chest.
And so Alex's point is any exercise you do, you have to build that mind-muscle connection. You need to feel the muscle that you're working while doing the movement. And so don't just throw a weight around, do a squat, bench, and deadlift or any exercise and not feel it. Please think about the weight that you're lifting. Don't ego lift. Lift a light enough weight and really feel it. Squeeze out on the concentric, go slower on the eccentric, develop proper mind-muscle connection, and that will pay dividends in the years to come.
Things I like to do to increase my mind-muscle connection is going to be pre-exhaustion. I preach on this technique in so many videos.
And so what he says, if you don't have a great mind-muscle connection on the squat, bench, or deadlift, perhaps do a pre-exhaustion exercise first. For example, the cable flies before doing the bench press. You do several several sets with lighter weights, get a nice pump, and then when you go and do the bench press, you're going to feel your chest work that much more. And so if you're not feeling success with any movement, perhaps give his pre-exhaustion tips a try.
I believe a pump helps with getting a better mind-muscle connection. So how do you increase your pump? Taking different stim-free, pump-focused pre-workouts. A lot of you guys take stim-loaded pre-workouts that are just like a stupid amount of caffeine.
And what about pre-workouts? Well, Alex, he's more a fan of pre-workout pumps rather than pre-workout stims. And so at HDLT Sups, we have both. We have pre-workout pump, caffeine-free. We also have pre-workouts with stims. We also have the hardcore stim pre-workout for those who need that extra push in the gym, that incentive. But if you already have the energy, you don't need the caffeine boost, then why not give pre-pump a try? With ingredients like L-citrulline, beta-alanine, betaine, alpha-GPC, you're going to get the pump you need and have more energy to push harder than last time in the gym without the caffeine.
Like too many times I'll see beginners in the gym and they're just like, doing cable flies or whatever, and they do 12 reps and they could have done another 4 or 5 reps and they just stop at that 12th rep because that's what their program said to do.
And I 100% agree with Alex here. People in the gym, they're training like pussies. They're blaming their genetics or the fact that they're natural. Oh, I can't make gains. Yet they're doing 4 sets of 12. If you can do 4 sets of 12 and it's not hard, how do you expect to grow? Yeah, you can as a beginner, but once you're intermediate or advanced, you need to really push yourself. You have to train to failure. You can't half-ass your workouts. And when I say train to failure, I quite literally mean train until you can't get another rep. Train to failure. You fail. It's the one thing in life where failing is good. Your goal to get 12, you can't do it. You stopped at 10. That is good. You went as hard as you could. And so just because you got your 4 sets of 12, don't celebrate. That means it was too easy.
But if you're training naturally, like you have to progressively overload in terms of intensity, in terms of weight, whatever it may be in the gym, if you want to build a bigger and a better physique.
And whether you're natural or enhanced, it applies to both. You need to progressive overload. You need to train harder than last time.
Obviously, it's a genetic strong point, but I only do 2 exercises for my chest, which is crazy. All 8 or 9 of those sets that I'm doing are executed 100% perfectly.
And that's another great point. You don't need to do 5 to 10 different exercises. Incline, decline, flat, sideways, upside down. You don't need to do that. Pick the best 2, maybe 3 exercises for you, train them hard and move on.
I'm going to failure. I'm making sure I'm actively stretching and contracting the muscle, and I'm actually feeling the tension in my chest the whole entire way.
In any given week, 10 to a maximum of 20 total sets, that's all you need. And think of it, 20 is for the extremely advanced lifters, and the harder you train, the less sets you have to do. If you're trained to failure, train really hard, closer to 10. If you're not training as hard like Jeff Nippard, well, you can go closer to 20. If you're leaving reps in reserve all the time, IRR, I got to save myself. Well, I don't want to tax my central nervous system. I got 10 sets left. Well, yeah, you're going to train half-ass because you know you have so many sets left. What's that's known as is junk volume. You're thinking, well, I got to do 5 sets of chest, so I better save some energy. Rather think I'll do 2, maybe 3 sets and really push yourself.
I just pick a weight to where I feel like it's the heaviest weight that I can control, and then I just rep it out like crazy. And let's say I only get 6 reps, which isn't a lot.
Exactly. He's not even counting reps. Really, he's just trying to get to failure. If he gets his 6 reps and can't do any more, he does partial sets, a drop set. I do the same thing. I'm not thinking, I need to get 12 reps. I need to get 10. I need to get 15. No, I'm thinking I need to push hard. I need to train to failure. If I don't feel I'm pushing as hard as I can, I find a way. Whether it's 5 reps, 10 reps, 25 reps, you need to train hard.
I do as many full range of motion reps that I can do, and then when I can't do that anymore, I'll do as many partial reps that I can do. And then when I can't do that, I'll do a drop set, or maybe I'll flex after the set as hard as I can.
Now, if you're a beginner, you don't need to do these drop sets or forced reps, partial reps, and so on. But if you're intermediate, especially if you're advanced, you need to find a way to push harder than last time.
I would do like 20, 25 different working sets when it came to training literally any muscle group workouts. You don't have to do 4 or 5 different exercises for one muscle group. You're literally wasting your time in the gym.
And so please look at your programming. Are you doing 5 exercises, 4 sets of each, 20 sets on a given workout? If so, chill out, relax, lower the volume, increase the intensity. And what you'll notice is you'll be able to lift heavier weights, rest more, and you're going to increase muscle hypertrophy.
You have to understand that there gets a point, especially as a natural lifter, if you're doing so much volume, you're literally not going to get bigger.
And so what it is the law of diminished returns. A little bit of something is great, but if you keep doing more, eventually it's not going to help. And if you keep doing more, it's actually going to hinder your progress.
The whole concept is being more anabolic than catabolic. So if in the way you build muscles, you tear down your muscle fibers and then they build up to be bigger.
And so think of it, stimulate, don't annihilate. It's kind of like building a brick wall. You have a brick wall and you're trying to get it thicker. Perhaps make a few little cracks, add some cement, some filler, and let it dry out. When it's dry, do it again. But you don't tear down the entire wall and start from scratch. Small changes, micro tears to the muscle, which then repair after a few days, and then you repeat the training. That is how you're going to build muscle slowly and repeatedly, week after week, month after month, year after year.
So if you guys want to answer when it comes to how much volume I think you should do, I think training each muscle group twice per week is great. I enjoy 3 to 4 day splits. I don't think bro splits are good, especially for a natural lifter.
And so his advice, split your body so that you're training your entire body twice a week. I agree the same thing. Bro splits where you're doing one body part a week, I simply don't think they're ideal. Much rather see you do less volume and train more frequently, allowing your body to train twice a week. And think of it, if you train your muscles twice a week, that is 104 times that your body can grow in 1 year. If you're training each body part once a week, you only get 52 opportunities for the muscles to grow each year. And so, which seems to be better? And so what does the research say? Well, it supports training each muscle 2 to 3 times a week. Personally, I'm doing full body workouts approximately 2 to 3 days a week, usually every 3 days, and bike racing on the other days, and that's what I'm doing. If I were a beginner and really enjoyed the gym, I might divide my body into 3 different days, training 6 days a week. Another great choice, split your body into 2, and you can do 2 days on, 1 day off, or do 1 day on, 1 day off. Both scenarios are great. All depends how often you want to go to the gym and which situation's better for you.
When it comes to bigger muscle group, like I'd say your chest, your back, your legs, I like sticking around 3 exercises. Obviously, I only do 2 for my chest because my strength and my strong part.
And so for each body part, he suggests 2 to maybe 3 exercises. I totally agree. There's no reason to do 5 sets for a body part. You're training your biceps. You don't need 4 or 5 different exercises. Pick a couple, do them with intensity. That's the best way to train.
I only take a rest day when I feel it's needed. I am not a fan at all of planning your rest days. I think that's stupid, honestly.
I also agree with this. I don't think people should plan rest days. If you feel great, go to the gym. If you're sore, don't go. Just because it says you should be training on Monday doesn't mean you should. If it's Monday and you're sore everywhere, you're overtrained, well, take the day off. But if it's Tuesday and it says plan day off and you feel amazing, you want to go, well, go.
If you watch this video and you feel like you haven't been training intense enough and you want to bump up your intensity, you're going to feel more depleted during your workout. How you hold that depletion off is by doing intra workouts.
And if you're looking for a good intra workout, HCLT Supps has Peri Light. It has 8 grams of essential amino acids and BCAAs, as well as it helps with hydration. Now, if you just ate or had a pre-workout meal, perhaps a Seco bar right before you went to the gym, you probably don't need to eat or consume any intra-workout whatsoever. Unless, of course, you're like Coach Greg, you're racing bikes, burning up a ton of calories, your workout's going on past 90 minutes, then you may need some intra-workout carbs, but Peri Light, that should be all that you'll ever need. Help with hydration while giving you 8 grams of protein in the form of EAs and BCAAs. Can't ask for something better than that.
And again, if you disagree with any of this, just comment down below your disagreement and why you disagree. And again, like, I'm always down to learn. I don't believe I know everything at all.
And so I really like the way he says this. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, please comment below and explain why. I'm still learning. This is what I think. And so I really enjoyed this video. I highly recommend it. I think everyone can learn a ton from watching it. And so please go and check out this video. It's called What I Wish I Knew When I Started Lifting, Training for Aesthetics. And so just to let you know, I'm going to be meeting up with Alex Eubank. We're going to Toronto, make videos. And so what kind of videos would you like us to do? Write in the comment section, what questions do you have? What would you want us to do? Subscribe, click the bell button, comment for the algorithm, watch at least one of the bloops, and remember, HCLT Supps, click the link in the description, code Greg, 10% off. And until next time, I am out.